Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
All right, welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. And if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Sure. Hello, everybody. My name is Patricia Di Bartolo. I live in Hamilton, Ontario, and in Canada. So I'm very excited to be part of this team today. And Dan invited me over to the podcast. And today I'm talking about Hoppy Feet. Hoppy Feet is my brand. And I started Hoppy Feet, I'd say, about 5 or 6 months ago. And we are now on Amazon Canada, which is a big thing for us. And so that's what we're here to talk about today is my brand and how everything came about.
Yeah, so can you just dive deeper into what exactly is the brand? How did you get the idea for it?
Yeah, so the brand was not something that was just thought about. It wasn't just, it took a lot of time and effort to think about what I wanted to do. To be honest, I'm actually a chemist by trade. So I've worked in distribution for many, many years. And with that being said, I've always seen a lot of holes in the industry, whether it be food, personal care, or pharma, where I noticed that there was a lot of opportunity for growth. I did have a big passion for personal care, and I thought that at some point I'd be doing personal care type brands because I always wanted to have a brand. So eventually I started adopting rabbits. So that was my passion other than having my own child. So I have a rabbit named Oreo. I used to have one named Cinnamon. And most of my day is pretty much taken up by taking care of Oreo. You would think that rabbits are very easy to take care of. They are not. So they have a wonderful personality. They let you know when they're happy, sad, miserable, or just want to play. And interesting enough, they also have very particular food habits like humans. So I noticed that, while I'm out buying my brands of rabbit food, there really wasn't many choices of healthy rabbit foods and treats as well. There was a lot of sugars in them and preservatives and additives that, mind you, I wouldn't eat. So I really don't want him to eat it, knowing that I want him to live a long life. So with that in mind, I created Hoppy Feet. Hoppy Feet was created because of that hole in the industry that there was no, I would say, healthy rabbit and small animal food on the market. So Hoppy Feet was actually introduced by Oreo to keep him healthy. And so I decided to bring my brand to life so all the other rabbits and small animals could enjoy that as well.
Awesome. So in terms of creating this, I'm sure that you probably had to, have a few prototypes and test it out. How did you find this? I know you mentioned that you're a chemist, right? But how did you actually find this formula that was going to work for your rabbit and for all rabbits?
Well, I can't say I found a formula 100% for everyone, just like everyone doesn't 100% like
Sure.
broccoli. So I did come with a formula that is more of an alfalfa-based meal product because it has balanced vitamins, proteins, minerals, and obviously the high fiber content that rabbits need in order to keep their digestive systems intact and healthy. So with that in mind, alfalfa is, I've never tasted it myself, but seems to be the big plant that most of the rabbits eat in the wild. So I chose the alfalfa. There are a few of my customers who are interested in me moving into Timothy, so there might be some opportunities there as well. So with that being said, the treat side of the business was more about healthy food that we provide rabbits during our season. So during the season, we'll have access to fresh apples and blueberries and strawberries and different fruits. And when that's not available, I decided to come out with a freeze-dried freeze-dried product to be available year-round for owners to be able to provide their rabbits with still the same fruit that has 100% value to it and has 100% nutrition of the fruit, and offer that to them in a package. So it's actually convenient for people when we're busy and on the road and we're bringing our rabbits here and there, and especially me when we're going on vacation, we have to get a sitter for Oreo. So it's very handy to have the freeze-dried fruit. So I always wanted to make sure there was a handy fruit in place.
So I'm just curious, right? So obviously you mentioned that you were looking, Amazon and other channels. Like, what percent of your business right now would you say is e-commerce versus selling on, retailers or selling in retailers, for example?
Yeah, so I would say probably right now, because I'm still early into it, I would say most of it is e-commerce. So I would say 90% is Amazon Canada. Early 2024, we're moving into Amazon US. Which I'm very excited about because I do a lot of social media work on TikTok. And funny enough, there are tons and tons of rabbit and small animal owners within the US. I'm not saying within Canada there isn't, but obviously the US is much bigger. But the US and for some reason Australia, there are tons of rabbit lovers there. So when they have conferences there, which I hope to attend at some point, just to learn new products, and they seem to be on the same page as me. So yeah, so I'm really excited to be moving into that space, retail space. I'm still working on that, working with some options on distributors. So
Awesome. So what would you say is the biggest challenge that you're facing in the business right now?
I would say the biggest challenge is, funny enough, is being a Canadian. In the pet food market, because there are so many competitors that are US based. However, I feel funny enough you say that. I feel like now that I'm on Amazon that some of my US competitors are actually raising their prices, so maybe I raise the bar a little bit. So it's interesting enough, but I do find that made in Canada, because we are Canadian, trying to get the economy up again, up and running. So it's nice to have a Canadian story to tell. And it's not just somebody just making a product, it's somebody who has a pet, somebody who has a story and why they're doing this. It's not just making a product and just looking at a niche that they do online to find a niche and just go with it and work with it. You really have to have that passion. And so I think that's what differentiates is the smaller businesses that have the passion. They're the ones who eventually, I think, have some growth.
For sure. So obviously now that we're wrapping up 2023, so what would you say are some of your goals for next year, even like revenue, kind of where you're at now and where you want to get to for next year?
Yeah, so next year, I actually have another product launching next year. So it's air dried carrots and butternut squash. So it's very exciting because a lot of these can be used as obviously for rabbits and small animals again, and can be used as food toppers. So a lot of rabbits get finicky, they get the same pellets fed to them all the time. Sometimes, like myself, I like to mix it up and get some alfalfa in there, some timothy, some different dried fruit. So I tried and mix some seeds myself at home. So when you have a little topper, it makes a difference and it encourages your pet to eat as well. But it's a healthy topper. It's something you would give them. And again, squash is a seasonal product. So it's something that's handy. You can bring with you all the time. It's healthy. So that will be launching very soon. So we will have at least 4 products. So my goal next year is to at least have 7 products on the Hoppy Feet line. And I guess my revenue, I'm looking at anywhere between $500,000 to $1 million. I don't see where that's not feasible, but I mean, definitely, obviously, with the add-on products, I think there's tons of opportunity there.
What do you think is like the biggest obstacles in the way from where you're at now to get to that $1 million annual revenue next year?
I think I know my biggest problem is marketing. So I do need some help with marketing. Obviously, I wear many hats in the business and I can't possibly be good at everything. And so marketing is one of my things. And I think it's brand awareness and just having that brand awareness and that in front of customers and explaining who we are and why we're doing it. Reading the story that I have in the back of my packaging on how Hoppy Feet came about. All of that, I feel like when customers read that, they get the warm and fuzzies and they can relate because they have the same story. They're like, they want the same things for their rabbits. They want them to live long and they'll give them healthy. So
Awesome. So, like, when you say brand awareness, like, where do you see that, like, helping you? Is it more of like, even like on what channels, right? Like, are you looking at, or like, I'm running Facebook ads or email? Like, what are you looking to do to really get that brand awareness, and really, how is that going to help you?
Yes, I feel like the Facebook ads, Instagram, I need to work a little bit on that, as well as Pinterest. I feel like I haven't done enough on there. And really, as one person doing everything, as I mentioned, wearing all the hats, it's almost impossible. I would love to get to a point where I can create a funnel in marketing where I could have it automated overnight for me and something simple. I would love that. Maybe there's something in AI, something that can help me automate my business. So I don't have to worry about that. And I can continue branding my product and creating new products.
For sure. So, speaking of AI, like, where do you think AI can come in and help your business? Is it more from like the marketing side, or do you also view it as maybe even helping you at a conversational level, meaning like somebody comes to your website and they have a conversation with AI to understand more about your products?
Right. I think AI would be able to help me with some content creation, some videos, and bringing that again, my brand awareness and what we are and what are pretty much our core values of our company, where we're heading in the future, and why we want to stay as natural as possible, why we don't want added sugars, preservatives, and additives in our products. And so I feel like that brand awareness is where I need some help.
For sure.
And it's good to
So,
come out and just say it.
for sure. No, it's a very important thing. So, in terms of goals, right? We spoke about goals for next year, but like, I guess, what are you really focused on? I guess, like, even like in the next few months, like top business priorities you really just want to hone in and lock down as you start next year in January.
So I would say work goals. I would say continue. Like I mentioned, first quarter is to launch in Amazon US, and then continue. I do a lot of cold calling, so I do a lot of cold calling on retail, and that is giving me more momentum and opportunities with some bigger distributors because a lot of the customers, unfortunately, do only want to work with distributors. There are a few. Interesting enough, I would love to get into a PetSmart and maybe a Pet Value, maybe a Ren's. I do have contacts there. So it's something to work towards, but I don't feel that I could get there yet unless I have a full portfolio and enough products to show them that we're strong enough.
For sure. Yeah. I'm not sure how those retailers work, but obviously, I feel
Mhm.
like once you're in PetSmart, that they're kind of that pinnacle, or Petco or like one of these companies. That's a very, I guess, high level and trusted retailer when it comes to this space.
Yes. And I'm told that it's a difficult thing to do, but I'm ready for the challenge and I'm ready to see where I can build those partnerships and I can do that myself. And I feel that because of my sales background and working with different companies, whether it be in purchasing, marketing, or R&D, I feel that I have the ability to do that and to build those partnerships and work them.
For sure. So, what would you say is like the one biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew before you started this business?
Yeah, so I wish I knew how much time and actually money it takes to just start up. I took that a little bit for granted. What the kind of the calculations I had in my mind were not realistic, obviously. I would have to say more of the packaging type products is packaging is a big part of it, part of what you're doing. So eventually I find what another goal of mine for next year moving towards that again is reducing packaging costs and my supplier costs so then I can make more profits. So that's another goal and kind of something I'm working towards myself. So if I had to go back and say yes, I would go back and seriously review how much it will actually cost to do a startup and then have those funds available and just go for it.
Yeah, I would say it's one of the most common things that we hear on this podcast is it's always going to cost more. It's always going to take longer. It's a very common thing. And
Yes.
like, have you raised money or are you 100% bootstrapped?
Right now, it's 100% me. I haven't raised money, but there are some options that I'm looking at for raising some funds as I grow, because Amazon does take a lot up front. You have to have inventory, you have to have payments up front. So it takes a while to get paid once you're doing lots of marketing on Amazon. So by the time you get paid, any bit of money that does come in, it all goes back into the business.
For sure. Yeah. That
And
makes
another
sense.
thing I would mention is anybody starting, don't expect to pay yourself for probably 6 months to 9 months, and don't expect to pay yourself.
Yeah, that's a very common thing. I can relate to that 100%.
Yes.
Awesome.
And it's okay. It's business. It's why we do business. It's the money, the marketing we put into the business, and why we're here. And I guess we're here because we enjoy the challenge as well.
Exactly. No, and that's awesome. So if somebody watching this wanted to reach out to you, do you mind sharing your website or social media, just best ways to get in contact with you?
My best ways would be my website, which would be hoppyfeet.ca. If you wanted to look just closely at my products, I do have some wonderful accessories on there that complement, and they're safe toys for rabbits and small animals. A lot of chews, a lot of, I would say, healthy type products, PBA free. So we've got some different options on there. And as well, you can catch me on TikTok. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. I'm Hoppy Feet Rabbit Mom. So you can find me anywhere. It's pretty much all across social media. And I believe that would be the best way to reach out to me.
Awesome. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for your time today. We're rooting for you. Hopefully, you have a very successful 2024. And yeah, thanks again.
You're welcome. Thank you for your time. Take care, everyone.
Thanks. All right. Bye.
Bye.